Hello students. Today we are going to learn our first lesson Maharashtra before Shivaji. In this lesson we are going to learn the condition of our Maharashtra before Shivaji Maharaj. Shivaji was a great man. He was an ideal person and he established Swaraj in our Maharashtra. He was a great warrior and we are going to learn about him. We celebrate his birth anniversary with a great pomp and reverence. With a great pomp, it means with impressive manner, and reverence with the feeling of respect. You sing songs and poems in his honor, and you garland his picture and say, Shivaji Maharaj ki Jai. It is a happy day for you, children. Is it right? Who was this Shivaji Maharaj? Who was this Shivaji Maharaj? He was a very great king of India and he established Swaraj in our Maharashtra. And we are going to learn about him. In the time in which Shivaji Maharaj lived was that of the medieval period. In that period, people were protected by the soldiers of sultans. In those days, monarchy or the rule of kings prevailed everywhere, and many of the kings pursued their own pleasures and enjoyments instead of the welfare of their subjects. Many of the kings engaged in their own pleasures, in their own happiness, instead of the welfare, instead of the prosperity of their subjects, instead of the health of their subject. But even those days, there were some kings who looked after the welfare of their subjects. Who were they? The Mughal Emperor Akbar in the north and Emperor Krishnadev of Vijayanagar. Emperor Krishnadev of Vijayanagar in the south are famous in history for their benevolent rule. Likewise, Shivaji Maharaj also commands great respect even today. Shivaji Maharaj established Swaraj in Maharashtra. Swaraj means self-government. 400 years before Shivaji Maharaj, our Maharashtra was divided among two sultans, Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar and Adil Shah of Bijapur. These two sultans had divided Maharashtra among themselves, but they were not liberal in their outlook, they were not generous. They oppressed the people over whom they ruled. They harassed the people, they troubled the people over whom they ruled, and they were sworn enemies of each other. They constantly fought against each other, and with the result that the people suffered and were harassed by the soldiers of Nizam Shah and Adil Shah. People troubled, people troubled a lot, people harassed a lot by the soldiers of Adil Shah and Nizam Shah. The people could not get enough food to eat, could not get enough food to eat. People where people could not celebrate. In those days, people could not celebrate their festivals openly and freely. There were not freedom to celebrate festivals also or worship their gods openly and freely. People could not worship their gods also openly and freely. They were not sure of their safety in even their own homes. There were many Watandars like Deshmukhs and Deshpandes who owned Jagir. Jagir means what? A part of land awarded by Sultan as reward. And who got Jagir? That person called Watandar. And like this, Deshmukhs and Watandars were there who owned Jagirs. They loved only their Jagir, not their country. The constant fighting among them brought great misery to the people. There was misrule everywhere. People were tired of this oppression. Shivaji Maharaj saw all this and he undertook the noble task of establishing Swaraj in Maharashtra, which would bring happiness to the people. He first brought to book the Watandars who fought among themselves. He then used them in his plan to establish Swaraj. He fought against the powers that oppressed the people, defeated them. He established Hindavi Swaraj based on justice, based on fair play, and based on equal treatment to people of all castes and religions. Shivaji Maharaj made no distinction between Hindus and Muslims. He honored the sons of all religions. He never made any distinction between the Hindus and Muslims. He honored the sons of all religions. We draw inspiration from these noble deeds of Shivaji Maharaj. During the period of about 300 or 400 years before Shivaji Maharaj, many sons were born in Maharashtra, and their work helped Shivaji Maharaj in his successful effort of establishing Swaraj. We shall see in the next chapter what these saints did.